Well, for our next story, I would like to head to Ashkum, Illinois, in Kankakee County to hear Harold Wilkens' family farming story, which his farm, it reaches back to 1882. But in 2001, Harold found himself at a turning point, a point in time from which he never looked back. Harold's story was recorded live with members from the Alliance Local Food Producer Caucus. Please take it away, Harold.
Okay. Well, so it was November of 2013, and I had just finished loading a load of wheat to go to Lackawanna, New York for chicken feed. And as I watched that truck drive out of my lane, I thought, you know, this is really crazy. I'm shipping wheat 600 miles to feed chickens. And I got thinking of all the people in the Chicago food shed that eat that, you know, we really ought to be able to figure something out. Well, fast forward a couple of months to January of 2014, and our maid of honor has a business that does strengths workshops for large corporations. And she thought it would be a hoot to do a strengths workshop with Janie's farm. So if you can imagine 5 rednecks sitting around the table answering questions about how would you do this? How would you do that? How does this make you feel? It was really a hoot all day. And at the end of the day, though, we got to see all 5 of us basically where our strengths are and where our weaknesses. But like for me, I'm the ideas guy. I'm the guy who looks at something and goes, you know, we could do this. And my son Ross, he's the nuts and bolts guy, and he's like, okay, Dad, how are we going to pay for this? And, you know, what are the logistics and all that? I kind of call him an anchor dragger. But anyway, so the farm, after we got done with the people, we started working on the farm. What could the farm do? And what we realized was that we should be doing food grade grains, maybe milling, things like that. So for the next 2 years, I did a lot of research and went visited mills and did things. And finally, I drug Ross along to New York in 2016. Now you got to understand, for the last 2 years, this has been Dad's BS project, okay? But I took him to Farmer Ground Flour. We met with the Farmer Ground people, and we came back, and Ross goes, you know, Dad, I think we could do this. And that was when I knew that Janie's mill was going to become something, and that we could go ahead and start looking to build. And once Ross was on board, and him and I were working in the same direction, why, that was where the idea of Janie's mill came forward. So for the next 2 years, we bought machines, we went and visited other mills, we got the ideas, and now we're selling flour to anywhere within a 4.5 hour radius of our farm, doing a lot in Chicago, and we sell a lot of our grain to other millers, to distillers, to brewers, and we're working on more processes that will make that possible. You know, no good business no good business is successful without a catchy tagline. So, you know, I came home one day and I said, you know, I think we should make our motto, Janie's Farm and Mill. If we can't feed you, we'll get you drunk. Well, I can tell you that Sandy Wilken, my wife, put a kibosh to that right away. But even without a good tagline and without, you know, catchy phrase, we've been successfully milling and selling flour and developing relationships with individuals, with bakers, with millers, and it's been a great ride. But for all you who are thinking about doing milling, make sure that you got twice as much money and 4 times the time to get it going. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Harold. I, for one, am so happy that you went into growing grain for human beings and milling, because after interviewing Harold a few years ago, I was so moved by his story of his daughter that you haven't even heard. That, oh, you got to hear it. And I was so impressed by his dedication to creating good food and protecting the soil that I became a super user of his flour. And my partner keeps saying, oh, we've got another 2 boxes of that coming, because I cannot stop baking with it. I got some of the rye and heritage wheat bread right here. And I can tell you, it makes all the difference. It tastes fantastic. It's still got so much of the nutrients in it from the fresh milling. And I feel great about the people who are growing it. So thank you, Harold.